Well, good afternoon, Web Summiters. We're here at Planet Tech. We kind of all know that the Earth is a tiny bit screwed and getting more screwed by the moment. It's not just climate change, as they're discussing over in Glasgow. It's nature as well. You can hear me okay? Good. 68% reduction in biodiversity in the last 50 years. 68%. Our oceans full with plastic and going warmer and more acidic all the time. Our forests being destroyed left, right, and center. So what can we do about it? Well, it is the last chance saloon, but it's not our last hope. And the point of Planet Tech, right, is that tech and science can contribute to the solutions, can stop the bad stuff happening, and hopefully get us moving in the other direction, which is why I am super glad today to introduce you to Justin Winters, co-founder of One Earth. What is One Earth? Just tell me what One Earth is before we start, and why did you set it up?
Sure. Hey, everybody. Thanks for coming today. So One Earth is an organization that has been in development for about 8 years. It came out of my prior work leading the Leonardo DiCaprio Foundation. I was looking for answers. I was looking for a strategy to solve climate change. And I wanted to know, A, is it possible? What do we need to do to solve it? And I really wanted to focus on what is the role of nature in actually solving the climate crisis? Because we knew inherently that it was deeply a big part of the solution, but there were no clear roadmaps about what it's going to take and how to elevate nature as a solution. So in 2019, we spun One Earth off. It became an independent organization. And so we use groundbreaking science, inspiring media, and an innovative approach to philanthropy to drive collective action to solve climate change.
And why nature? Because nature's not very techy. Why did you choose nature as being part of the solution for climate change?
Well, I'm probably I have a different background probably than many people here. I was a fine arts and art history major. I had a deep love of nature from the beginning. I think many of us do, but sometimes we lose touch. And when you've had the opportunity that I've had to travel around the world and see vast different cultures and ecosystems and the beauty of nature and what it does to sustain us, it's just clear that humanity right now is deeply disconnected from understanding that without a healthy planet, without nature, we're done. Nature does everything. It gives us clean air, clean water, healthy food. It provides beauty, inspiration. We are nature, and we forget that. And so to me, it was always inherently in there. And I could also see that there was this vast network of millions of people that I had the privilege of working with who were doing direct solutions on the ground to both protect biodiversity and solve climate change. And we needed to elevate their voices and their work and really take them seriously as the kind of massive lever for change that they are.
Yeah. I want to get to those innovators that are doing that stuff. But before, tech folk like to take scientific approaches to tough questions. And you're no different at One Earth, right? Tell us a bit about how you've used tech and science to frame your mission.
So, we had this unique perspective that was a global perspective because of the work that I was doing at Leonardo DiCaprio's foundation, where we were working globally and then trying to affect change locally in different regions and countries. And so I was looking for a global strategy. And I was looking for something that was science-backed and credible, but also really kind of proved the belief that we had in the people on the ground to solve climate change. So we went down a gnarly pathway. We looked for answers in science. We looked at all the existing climate models out there and saw that, in fact, nobody had done a climate model that didn't, by default, just rely on a lot of false technology solutions. And so it was 2016, we started our work funding a group of scientists, leading scientists, many of them authors on the IPCC report, to develop a climate model. And our question to them is it possible to solve climate change with existing technologies? And what is the goal line? And so what came back was published and peer-reviewed and published by Springer Nature in 2019. And it proved that, yes, we can solve climate change. We can achieve a world of no more than 1.5 C global average temperature rise, and we can even get it lower than that. And this is the punchline. We can do it with existing technologies and nature-based solutions. And I know that probably doesn't sound exciting to a crowd of people that are committed to innovating new technologies, but the truth is we have the solutions now. And of course, technology plays a role here, but we are forgetting about the very core principles of solutions that are there right now. And so those three main things, which our climate model proved, and is just the beginning of the scientific work that we have been spearheading, we have to do three things to solve climate change. We have to transition to 100% renewable energy, and we can actually do that. Our 500-page climate model that was produced by leading scientists, almost all of those pages are an energy transition model. So we can get there, we can do it, and we can do it with existing grid infrastructure. And of course, new technologies will play a role in making that scale up faster, more rapidly, and in far-flung places. The second solution is that we have to protect and restore 50% of the world's lands and oceans. 50%, not 30, 50%. The third piece is that we have to transition away from industrial toxic forms of agriculture to regenerative agriculture. So all three of these solutions, both changing our food and energy systems and then protecting and restoring nature at scale, it's doable. It's possible. We can achieve this. We have the science to prove that it's possible. And I think it's important for people to know that, because a lot of people have thrown up their hands and just feel like all the power is in governments to make change, and that we can't do this and game over, we might as well throw in the towel. Not true. We can do it.
Just clarify for us, you said a lot of the models already out there are based on false technologies or hopeful, just name a few so we're clear on what you're talking about.
Yeah, and this could be a debate too.
No, let's not
it
debate
won't
it.
Be with you, but yes.
Let's just state what they are.
So there's actually a really interesting piece that I just read on the plane over from Mother Jones that goes over direct air capture, which our prior presenter spoke to a little bit. There's a whole raft of technology solutions that are kind of getting a lot of attention right now. Everything from direct air capture to bioenergy. It's called BECCS, the short form. The acronym for it is called BECCS. These direct air capture is, it's evolving and happening, and people are investing in it. But the truth is there's a lot of side effects to direct air capture and issues with scaling it and costs that come with doing it. And so a lot of the climate modelers didn't know how to grapple with some of the emissions that they were trying to navigate when they were doing scientific models. And so they would include kind of, okay, here's a big chunk of emissions that we're going to say is going to be addressed through future technology solutions. And so it kind of just, and interestingly enough, in this article, they mentioned that the scientists literally couldn't deal with the magnitude of the problem that they were facing. It was so overwhelming to them to admit that they didn't know how to solve this, and that they had to kind of throw a chunk of emissions into a category that wasn't proven yet.
So you cut those out of your report. You've got
Yes.
a 500-page report, three main findings: shift to renewables, stop deforesting, and shift to restorative. That's a difficult word, isn't it?
Regenerative
agriculture.
Yes.
That's still quite complex. Like, if we're going to solve it, we need to get our hands around the problem and kind of work out what land is currently being used for and how we shift the energy system. And you've done some work on that using technology as well, haven't you? Tell us a bit about that work.
Sure. So probably most relevant to this crowd, and I think you guys will find this interesting. So that second pillar that I spoke to, the protection and restoration of 50% of the world's lands and oceans, we have not actively started working on oceans yet, but we tackled land first. So our question was, if we know we need to protect 50%, let's prove that scientifically, and then we need a roadmap. Where are the intact lands? Where are the opportunities for restoration? How much, different pockets of land store and house carbon at different levels. Biodiversity plays a role. Areas of deep biodiversity are also deep carbon storage. So it was a 2.5-year effort. Last year in 2020, the Global Safety Net came out. And it was both a peer-reviewed piece of science that was published by Science Advances, but then we also worked with Google Earth Engine to produce a visual data app that would showcase what the Global Safety Net looks like and what the roadmap is. So
and I think we've got a short video, haven't we, I think?
Yes.
Yes.
Key to rebalancing our global climate system and ensuring a vibrant future for all. Ecosystems absorb carbon from the atmosphere and produce the essentials for life on our planet: fresh water, clean air, and healthy soil. Intact natural lands also help to prevent viral outbreaks like COVID-19. Tragically, in the past 50 years, we've lost half of our natural land, destroying 2/3 of all living creatures on Earth. We must reverse the damage, and we can, by creating the Global Safety Net, a network of land areas that are vital for nature and humanity. The Global Safety Net is the first comprehensive estimate of the total land area requiring protection to solve the twin crises of biodiversity loss and climate change. There are 6 main layers that make up the Global Safety Net. First, are areas already protected by governments, totaling 15% of the planet's land. Second, are species rarity sites. These are additional areas that need to be protected immediately before rare animals and plants are lost forever. Third are high biodiversity areas, groupings of plants and animals that are vital to maintaining our ecosystems. Fourth are large mammal landscapes, like the Pantanal wetlands of western Brazil, home to the world's largest jaguars. Fifth are areas with a large extent of intact wilderness, continuous forests, shrublands, and grasslands. Sixth are land areas that provide additional carbon absorption and storage, helping to stabilize our global climate system. The Global Safety Net also incorporates an analysis of potential wildlife corridors, areas of degraded land that can be restored to connect ecosystems back together, allowing nature to be more resilient as the Earth warms. Taken together, the layers of the Global Safety Net total approximately 50% of the world's land, offering a blueprint to restore our biosphere, helping to keep global temperature rise below 1.5 degrees Celsius, and providing the ecosystem services vital to our survival. Over 1/3 of these lands are communally held by Indigenous peoples, which demonstrates the importance of safeguarding territorial rights for these communities. You can explore the Global Safety Net through a new web application, which displays how every country and region can contribute in different ways towards this common goal. Visit gsnapp.org to learn more about your region and how it can contribute towards a world in which nature and humanity coexist and thrive together.
Nice video. We've got 5 minutes left. I don't want this to be depressing for people listening to the problems that you've mapped out. And you've produced this global safety net thing that I can look at and think, okay, I could see how we could restore 50% of land Earth. But it feels a long way from Lisbon or from wherever folk are from. What can we be doing? How can we access that? How can we use that work that you've been doing? Perhaps you could talk about the app that was mentioned at the end of the video. How's that work, and how would you like to see people go away and use it?
Yeah. So to be clear, the Global Safety Net 1.0 is the first version. So we're already working on the next version. This first version is a rough sketch of a common global goal of the 50% that we need to protect and restore on land. And then differentiated targets for every region and every country, because every region and every country is very different. A Brazil goal is going to be very different from a France goal. So that version, which was an enormous effort to pull together with many different scientific leaders and experts, is a rough sketch. So we're already working on a much more detailed version of the Global Safety Net and utilizing new technology, new AI, satellite monitoring, et cetera, so that we can get even finer resolution. And this becomes really critical and important because you need people to actualize this on the ground. You need a very clear roadmap of what is the nature and the lands in every country and every region that needs to be protected and restored. So the app that you mentioned and teed up for us was we created that so that people could go into their region, their country, and understand how much nature needs to be protected and restored here. It is already driving influence with government decision makers at the top. We already have several countries that are way lifting up their goals on the protection of nature because they are seeing the science and the clarity of the global safety net. We have a long way to go, but we're moving quickly to kind of raise ambition and understanding of the necessity to protect and restore nature. For everyday citizens, this is kind of our next goal. We really believe that not all the power resides in government. So much power resides in each one of us. And this issue is so complex. So we are working on both integrating the global safety net and that roadmap that needs to be protected and restored to a public action platform. We have the bare bones of it kind of up and running right now. So if you go to our website, oneearth.org, you can visit the navigator, and it will geolocate you and show you what bioregion you live in. And so the bioregions are a new framework of understanding our world. Our world, humans have created all these boundaries that are based on governments and political boundaries, and that has nothing to do with what nature needs and the roadmap of nature underneath our feet. So the bioregions, again, another big scientific effort that we took on with 20 different biodiversity experts. We created a new bioregional framework that think of it as kind of areas that are common assemblages of plants, animals, mammals, ecosystems that kind of need to work together to keep our planet healthy, to keep carbon in the ground, et cetera. So one of the first ways that folks, individuals, can kind of take action on this is, visit the GSN app, check out kind of the roadmap of the region that you live in, the nature that needs to be protected and restored, and then check out our global navigator on the One Earth website and see the bioregion that you live in. Take some time to see the photography, to understand the landscape, to understand the diversity, to reconnect to the earth, and go outside and experience it yourself so that you can become champions for that bioregion. And we have more in the works, including a giant roadmap of projects and organizations that are doing the work across the 3 pillars that I mentioned in every bioregion around the world. So this is, it is a process to get there, but we're getting there.
Did you hear that? Go out and enjoy nature. Escape the conference. But just lastly, you said at the beginning, one of the inspirations to set up One Earth was you were working with this network of innovators, a lot of people using tech to deliver nature-based solutions. Just in 30 seconds, how can we support those tech innovators, often working really on the front line?
That's a great question. I mean, I have seen, we are, one of our other big kind of focuses is scaling up the resources that are going to grassroots community-driven efforts across those 3 pillars around the world. I have seen remarkable technology solutions at the local level completely change the game for indigenous land tenure rights, for mapping, for proving ownership and caretaking of one's lands, even taking that into legal cases. So for example, you could check out an organization called Digital Democracy to see an example of the type of technology I'm talking about. But this is rethinking technology. It's not just technology for consumerism, it's technology for activism.
Technology for activism. We're going to have to end it there. Our time's up. Thank you very much, Justin. Do check out the One Earth website and download that app and keep doing what you're doing. Thank you.
Thank you.